45, Hickok 45 here. I'm having some fun, and I'm getting this old Colt just a little bit dirty, okay? I'm gonna shoot it 5 more times. We've had a lot of requests, well, to show how to clean or how I clean all sorts of firearms. We've done a few of those, and I've had requests to show me cleaning a single action or a Colt specifically even. And so we're going to do that. I want to get a little dirt in it first. How's that for realism? Oh, a bowling pin. That's like the one Wider probably shot with his Colt 40. Yeah. Ooh, boy. That was 5. That last round was federal 40. Appreciate it. Now what we're going to do is, I won't use the word quick because you know me, but I'm going to try not to belabor it too much. One reason I'm not done a cleaning video on a Colt single action or a single action is I keep thinking that, well, I'll just do one totally, take every screw out, take one of these things totally apart one day, and I just haven't done that. And we still will do that. But I wanted to show you, I was shooting this yesterday a little bit, and I was cleaning it, and it occurred to me, our viewers, some of them, might be interested in just how I go about cleaning this when I shoot it, okay? Because this is smokeless powder I was just shooting, so I don't need to go quite as in-depth, but they get dirty, and I like to take care of my firearms. Got a little red paint on my thumb from painting targets. That's not blood. So I've got, I think, everything out here I need. If not, I'll send John into the barn maybe, okay? And then I'll just talk to you, okay? So this is an old Colt single action. Acquired it recently, actually. We haven't done a video on it. We will. So I have been shooting it, just determine where it hits and all that kind of thing. So what I do first is generally just go ahead and take the cylinder out, and that way you can spray it down easier. So I'm going to do that. You half cock one of these things and pull out the base pin. I get it in this shape like here. Now you may have your single action, it could be any variety, of course. There's not a lot of difference. It might not have be built like that. The cylinder, it might be one piece, of course, but these old Colts have the separate bushing there, okay? So that gives me access to everything. And I like to spray, and everybody knows I use Ballistol, I guess. I like to spray, get some on all the parts, in those chambers. And I usually just do this. If I have a place to do it, I don't even put it on a rag. Just make sure that's all soaked in there, and let it sit in that stuff, okay? And then spray this, spray the inside of it, So let that start acting. Same with the barrel. The cool thing about this, and with Ballistol, you don't have to worry about getting Ballistol on the grips or anything like that. It's actually doesn't hurt any part of it, so you don't have to have that as an option. Whereas I used to use Hoppy's number 9 and some of the other things, and you get to kind of watch rubber and different things you might get it on. So I like to get the barrel soaked, get some in there, let it be soaking. This shouldn't be horribly dirty because I just fired it the number of times you saw me fire it. What I will do on one of these even is I will spray inside the ejector rod there, housing. Okay, get some in there. And if I'm shooting black powder even, I do the same thing. It just takes more, it just takes longer. If I were firing black powder, we need about an hour video because I really work them over. Even if I don't take them apart every single screw and every single part every time, which I don't every time, but I really soak them and do a lot. It takes a lot of working on them to get all the residue out. So I don't shoot those very often. When I do, I go ahead and shoot all I want to because it's going to be the same cleaning whether you fired it 5 or 6 times or you fired it 200 times by and large, okay? But even with smokeless, this is an older, it's made in 1907, so it's an older gun. I want to take good care of it and make sure it's preserved. And that is the main thing, the preservation of the firearm. Now, some people get maybe a little too crazy anal about, I remember a TV show one time, a long time ago, somebody was checking a hunting shotgun. Maybe it was the Waltons, an old grandpa, I think maybe. So he looked down the barrel of that shotgun after one of the boys had cleaned it, and he's, I better work on that some more. I see a piece of lint down there or something like that. You can take it to that level. You don't want anything in the barrel, obviously, obstructing the bullet or the shot, but you can also go a little too far. All right, well, think about it. after I just fired this 10 times, what if I had decided I was going to keep firing it? What if I was going to shoot it another 100 times? It'd be fine, right? No problem with that. Well, the barrel's kind of dirty. There was stuff in it. There was some grit. There's a little bit of grit in there. There's a little grit in the cylinder. So it's not like the little bitty piece of something is going to tear up the gun or do damage because you're firing it, right? So with one of my main concerns is to preserve it and have nothing rusting. I don't care if there's if I get too much ballast or oil on it, that doesn't matter. I want it preserved. And if it's not perfectly clean, that's one thing. But you want that preservative or whatever it is you're using, whatever product you use, you want it everywhere. You don't want any chance of rust. You don't want any moisture. That's the main thing. I mean, I could spray this thing down like this and leave it for a month. Soaking, nothing's going to happen. Soak the outside and everything. That's the big thing. I'm preserving it. And then also want to get it clean. All right, so I like these brushes. I use regular old plain toothbrushes too. Pick them up cheap at Walgreens or some drugstore somewhere, and I use that a lot too. Okay, and around the forcing cone, these places that really collect the dirt, I work on those. Okay, get that out really well. Okay, especially if it's black powder, I like to use that. And either one of these brushes is fine. Also, the front of the cylinder. It picks up a lot. This stiffer one might be better for that. Again, this was not horribly filthy, as you saw how many times I shot it, but I want to get the stuff that is going to take a little bit of elbow grease, and that's probably enough. Toothbrush works great back there too. If you feel like you need to spray a little more, you do it. Again, it depends on what lube you use. This is not petroleum based. It's not like really toxic or anything. In fact, I use it, I hate to say it, I use it on tick bites and stuff. There we go. Makes the tick let loose, and it doesn't poison you necessarily. Okay, I wouldn't eat it though. I'm not recommending you do that. All right, so I've got all the parts that were the dirtiest, kind of loosened up. So there shouldn't be anything really. Oh, here's another spot on a single action. I like to kind of brush that a little bit. You get a little extra grit there sometimes. Right? Now, if you have fired it 100 times, as some of you know, of course, you shoot. You get some buildup down in there and these corners and even back here. You get a little bit more. All right, so you just use a brush on that. Works pretty well. All right, now what else? Well, this thing, I brought, I think, everything I need out here. Got some paper towels and whatnot. This collects dust right in that little rim. See the dirt? Had no more than I shot that thing, and it was perfectly clean. So that little crevice there, always good. That's why I spray that early on. And again, even if it's not perfectly clean, if at some point I put this gun away and I got it back out in a couple of days and I can still get a little bit of brown out of that, it's not going to hurt too much because all the acids, if it's black powder and everything, have been neutralized by the solvent. So it's not going to rust on me. That's the main thing. Okay, but I do want to get it clean again. So, and I also spray the base print. It doesn't need as much, but sometimes it does if you shot it much. All right, so I got plenty of that stuff in there soaking. Now it could be that I've got something else I want to do for a little bit, or I'm cleaning another gun. I'll just let it soak a little bit longer. Okay, this is not like hydrochloric acid or something. It works a little bit slower, but I like it. It cures the steel sort of and takes care of that. I tend not to use. I like snakes, bore snakes. I use those on all my rifles and shotguns. Well, on handguns, I tend not to use it. Again, I'm just showing you what I do. It may be totally stupid what I do. Most things I do are totally stupid, as you know by now. But you may use a totally different method. I'm just kind of showing you what's worked for me for a lot of decades. Not necessarily the best way to do it. That's just how I do it. I'll lay out some patches like this, and I'll spray some of them, soak a few of them. Okay, and I'll probably go through a lot of patches, but. And then I'll run one through the barrel. This is one disadvantage of not using a snake. With a gun like this, you have to go through the front, but I'm careful. I damage it. See, so it's a little dirty. It's not too horrible. Run that through there. And I'll use the same patch. In other words, I'm assembly lining it, so I'm getting the worst of the dirt out of the barrel and the chambers here, maybe the very worst. Now I could run a dry patch through both of those right now, put it back together and shoot the thing. And also even put it away probably, and I wouldn't have rust going on or anything like that because I've got a lot of the oil in there, the preservative. So then I get another clean patch. And so from here on, it's just kind of a process of going from one patch to the next until they're not too dirty, or maybe not dirty at all. This is where it kind of is determined by you and how clean it has to be for you to put it away. Okay? Again, preservation is most important. It's not going to rust. Now, when I leave it, put it together, and put it back in the safe, it's going to have a slight film of the Ballistol on it, just like you would do with whatever you're using, probably oil, hopefully, okay? And so it's not going to rust because there's not stuff caked in there where it could be moisture under it or it could deteriorate or anything like that. One thing that makes a difference here, as I'm yakking at you, is when you're going to shoot the firearm again. Like, it could be that, I know I won't shoot this thing again for another year, or I shoot this gun every 2 or 3 years, get it out, I think that demands a better cleaning, probably. That causes me to want to really clean it well, okay? Because it's going away for a long time, maybe, and maybe I'm not going to touch it, at least the chambers, inside the chambers in the bore. And so I want to really get this thing clean, okay? But now, this firearm, for example, we're probably going to do a video here in a week or two with it. I don't know. And I may just get out and shoot it again. So I haven't had it that long. And so it's a firearm I might want to, I will want to shoot here before too long. So I'm not going to worry about not seeing anything at all in there because I know it's preserved. And I'm going to shoot it. If I were going to shoot it tomorrow, if I knew we were going to do a video on it tomorrow, I might just finish right now, okay? Or even after that first patch. See? So it just kind of depends. And everybody's different. I hear people that, I don't clean my guns. I get them out once a year, especially modern guns, Okay, well, you can do what you want, but I clean them every time I shoot to some extent. Again, if I knew I was going to shoot the next day, I'm still going to run patch through it. I just feel better knowing. See, that didn't take too long. That's just, what, the 3rd or 4th patch, so it's getting pretty clean. Yeah. So I'm beginning to feel good about how clean it is, and it won't take much more. Now, often the cylinder is a little dirtier, but not always. That's not bad. Wow. I'm a little surprised, to tell you the truth. But again, I didn't shoot it too much. If I had shot it 50 or 60 times, I might need to go through this process here with 3 or 4 more patches. Okay. And one thing I do too, I like this little edge here. This is what hit me last night. I was using, these are, I forget, ramrods, yeah. And I like these little things. They're like Q-tips. And look at that, little tip is perfect. I was doing this yesterday when I shot it, and I thought, what, maybe the viewers would be interested. They've been asking for a video on cleaning a single action. So I just show them how I go about it. So if I don't have these, obviously I just a wadded up, patch will work fine there. Because as I showed you, that's an area that collects it. I wonder why? See, that bushing is in there, and that's in front of the cylinder. So it's catching that blast coming out there and going down, and right from all the chambers, of course. So you get a lot right in that area, catching on the bushing itself there where I was showing you, and then also right in there, okay, and inside there. So I'm going to soak it a little bit more, and then I'm going to just probably think that's about good enough. We'll run another patch through. And if you've been shooting a great amount, there's other areas you want to spend a little more time on, like maybe in there, okay? See, just where your pin is, it goes across pin there to hold the base pin in. This isn't filthy or anything. We're in pretty good shape. The toothbrush does a lot of good, gets all that stuff out of there. And one thing I do, I pull that ejector out like that, and because it'll get dirty on the end. Now, if I'm doing black powder, yeah, it takes even more work on it. And of course, if I'm breaking it down totally, take that screw out right there, and the whole ejector rod housing, comes out. And you take the rod out and the spring, and you clean out. And I'll do that here one day, clean the whole thing. Okay. So I've wet it all down again. That patch is in pretty good shape. Let me see if it's. I'm just not getting much. Sometimes you'll notice too when you clean a firearm, you can soak her down real well, like I've been doing here, and I can tell you, okay, this is really clean. You get it out in a day or two, and you might get a little more out of it. It's like whatever cleaner you're using over a day or two might even release some other little, very small elements of the dirt. Okay. So as you know, you've seen our cleaning videos before on the AK or the AR-15. We've done a double action revolver, Smith & Wesson. I don't know what else we've done. We've done several, and we're bad about playlists. Some things are in playlists, but most are not. Be aware of that. You know how to search a channel. You can find if it's there. If we've done anything on it, go to the FAQ 54. Tells you how to search a YouTube channel if you've not done that. And these things are good for cleaning in here too. Perfect. There we go. Inside the bushing. So that thing is clean enough. Again, like I say, I know I'm going to be shooting this gun before too long. Let's get another patch here. I think I will go ahead and do one more soak patch on the barrel and the chambers, and we will be good. Like I say, I know it's preserved. There's not going to be any rust or anything. And if I see a little bit, that's pretty good. I'll do the chambers with that same patch. And again, I've said before, I don't mind cleaning a firearm. I enjoy it. You know, I usually don't have all y'all watching me. I don't worry about my hands. That's another advantage. It's another reason I use this stuff. I'm not trying to sell it to you. I've used it for almost 20 years, okay? And it's not toxic, you know, and so I can spray it on my hands, or, you know, it's not a big deal. I can get it all over me. It's almost like dish soap or water or something, all right? So now that's enough. That's clean. So I'm going to take a dry patch now, and I'm going to go through the, and I often don't even worry about this on the bore. I'd almost just assume there is some oil left in there, and there is. The chambers, you can, if you shoot a firearm with oily chambers, it's not always good. You want it damp maybe, but you want most of that out, because you can increase the pressure, I think, of the cartridge you're shooting if it's like soaked in oil, and it's not good to be soaked. But just a very light film won't hurt anything. All right, so pretty dry, pretty good shape. Wipe off the face of that. Okay, bushing's in good shape. Put him back in there. All right, the firearm looks pretty clean. I guess I got out more stuff than I needed here. Now, hopefully you can tell this firearm is not dirty. It's just old. All right, it's a collectible old firearm. It's a good one though. It shoots a little bit high, like almost all of these do, but the windage is really good. It's right on. And I wipe down. Of course, the outside is very important. Keep them wiped down. It's okay to cock it in this position. Make sure I'll have. And again, with this oil, I don't worry about it. I'll put some down in the action. Yeah, it doesn't hurt a thing. It's all steel, and this firearm is, except for the grips. And I got to be on half cock when I put that cylinder back in, because this is an old action. Believe that. And then I'll check the screws. Now this, I didn't fire enough for them to loosen up. You get a good screwdriver. This is from Peacemaker Specialists. They specialize, imagine that, in single action stuff, Colt single actions. I think he rebuilds them and does all kinds of stuff. Out in California somewhere. I forget the guy's name. But I've ordered a few parts. In fact, this screwdriver, I got from him. And ordered some parts, and I think he sent me a hat I wore for a video or two. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was going to show you something else once I get this back in here. Okay, so it's still kind of greasy, but I don't care. I like it that way. Okay, got my bushing in, which you might not have in your single action, of course. Most of the modern ones will not. You know what? I don't know if I gave this enough attention. Was it pretty clean? Yeah, in good shape. Okay, so the base pin is ready to put in. She's on half cock. And you got to kind of hold your mouth right and jiggle it. Cylinder, there we go. This thing, I think, has the original mainspring. Is pretty stiff. And then I'll just wipe it down. One thing I meant to show you, this I did get from Peacemaker Specialists. I ordered a couple of those. If you have trouble getting the base pin out, one of the most common problems with these old guns, you look at them, this one's probably got a few nicks too. It's not too bad. Whoever owned this one over the years and decades has taken good care of it. But you push in that pin, if it's just, sometimes they won't move, and you can see there's not much room to get a hold of it, and so people get pliers on there and booger up the barrel and everything else. So that's what this is made for. You just put it right there, and you can get it started at least and pry it out. Okay, get a hold of it and pull it out. All right, so, but fortunately on this one I don't have to do that. So I wipe it down. I brought pipe cleaners out, but for this particular firearm, there's not a lot of need for them, although they will help you get into a little nook and cranny. You can bend them or whatever you need to do. Now, when you take one totally apart, they're really handy to get up in there where the hand slides up and through and all that. We might do that one day, but you saw this took probably longer than you wanted to watch, right? Taking one totally apart and putting it back together, we figured out a way to do that under an hour and a half. We'll do a video like that. Maybe we speed it up or do something. You might find it interesting just seeing one taken totally down, you know, hammer every pin and spring, you know, and how it goes together and how it operates, you know, seeing the inside maybe a little more closely. But that's kind of what I do, and actually you saw the patches were pretty clean, so I feel like I could put this one away for a fair amount of time. Another thing, as I've suggested before, whenever you pick up a gun of any kind like this, unless it's maybe a polymer wonder, but anything that's steel and got bluing or whatever, steel showing, and you touch it anywhere, your hands, you know, have moisture in them, and it will rust wherever you touched it if you don't wipe it off. I keep a rag around each safe, and if I pull one out just to show somebody or just to look at it myself, whatever I do, I wipe it down just like that, and I'll turn the cylinder to make sure all the cylinder is wiped down, just like that. And I might open the loading gate, get in the trigger guard, make sure there's no moisture on that thing anywhere, and it's probably going, and this will have a slight film of ball saw on it. And then I'll look at it, and yep, I haven't touched the metal anywhere. I'll grab the plastic, by the plastic or the grip like that. I'll put it back in the sock. Yep, and then there it goes, you know, in the safe. That's kind of what I do. A double action revolver would be very similar to that. I mean, it's not the same design, but as far as the way I treat it and put it away, it's pretty much what I'm going to do. Take it down, get the cylinders, the chambers, and the bore until I get patches that, you know, look pretty clean. And then I make sure it's got a light film of oil on it, and make sure the screws are tight, and put it away. This is every time I shoot a firearm. Okay, I do at least that amount, all right? So I don't put them away and then come back and get them later unless it's late, we finish the video. I might spray them down, and then the next morning come in and do a really good job on them. That happens occasionally, but it's only because we finished shooting late or something. By and large, that's my approach. That's what I do. It's what I do. It may not work for you. If you have ideas, you know, feel free to share them in this video. Not hopefully to bash stupid things I do. Everybody knows I do stupid things. Just something that works for you, that you have found. Or if you've had a gun turn up rusty on you and you thought you were doing it right, or how your granddad ended up with a rusty cylinder or chamber and because he didn't do this, you know, whatever, you know, help folks out, you know. Main thing is keep that metal dampened, I think, or wiped down with a very, very light amount. Not that you can even see it on there, but if you got a dampened cloth of some sort, I used to use silicone rags. You can buy those that come in a pack, and I used to use those for a lot of years actually, and wipe down. They did the same thing. So it's whatever lubricant, whatever stuff you use, just keep that in mind. You want to keep it wiped down. Number one thing, inside the bore, inside the chambers, outside the firearm. You know, so anyway, that's what I do with a single action. It wouldn't matter whether it's an old Colt, a new Ruger, you know, whatever it might be. And I've got really good news for you. I'm not going to charge you for this. I am really not. All this brilliant insight into how to handle and clean a firearm, a single action, there is no charge today. So be happy. Life is good.
Hey, how's it going? It's trash day here on the compound, and since you guys are still here after the video, just wanted to let you know about our friends over at SDI, the Sonoran Desert Institute. They're a fully accredited online distance learning program where you can be certified in gunsmithing, or you can get an associate's degree in firearms technology. And that's sdi.edu, so go check them out if you're interested in that. Also, we appreciate Vaultex Safes, vaultexsafes.com. You've seen those pistol safes on the shooting table in some of our videos, so check them out if you're interested in a pistol safe. And also shootsomesteel.com, so where we got this shooting tree from, and some of our other various steel targets, so we appreciate all of their support. And if you want to see all of our other different locations out on the interwebs, don't forget to check out our website, hickok45.com. and also full30.com. And you can also find us on Facebook there's Hickok 45 Facebook, there's John Hickok Facebook, where I do stuff, and there's the Real Hickok 45 on Instagram, and then there's John_Hickok 45 on Instagram, where I do stuff, and then there's the Hickok 45 and Son YouTube channel. There's, of course, our t-shirts are on the website. So just basically go to hickok45.com, and you can find everything that we're doing over there. And that's, I think, about it. That's all I had to say. So I'll talk to you guys later.